Hi everyone and welcome to my Game Week 11 transfer plans. In this video, I've got the best defenders, midfielders and attackers backed by stats to help you make the best transfer possible for the upcoming game weeks. Also, if you're premium hopping to get the best possible captain for every game week, you're going to want to stick around. I've got a lovely section which covers the best premiums to own for Game Week 11. Now, if this sounds good to you, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. Before we look at the transfers though, let's have a quick look at this horror show, which is my Game Week 10 team. 36 points, only Sales and Rogers returned. It's another shocking game week and unfortunately, all too familiar for my liking, so I'm going to need to change this. This is why the transfers are so important. Look how much reds there is. That's loads of no returns, and you could tell I've even wore a red t-shirt just so I can sync with those guys, because me and this team are not functioning properly. The manager would be sacked by now. If this was the Premier League, I would have been fired. That's the truth of the matter. My new signings all flopped. It's just painful all around. So let's hope next week we can turn this around. We've got one more game week before the international break. It would be lovely to get a nice little healthy score. Let's have a look at the premiums and how they got on in Game Week 10. So out of these four players, only Mohamed Salah returned with that gorgeous finish to beat Brighton 2-1. It turned out to be the star man with 2 bonus points and delivering 9 points for his managers. Now, if you captained him, you've had a great game week. For the rest of us who didn't captain him, it was quite frustrating. Now, when you look at Palmer, his XG was close to Salah, albeit he played Manchester United. He had the same level of shots as Salah as well, 3, but no returns. I'm not quite sure how he got a bonus point with no attacking returns, but tells you how special this Palmer is. Saka, on the other hand, had a very quiet game by his standards, and Arsenal in general are having a tiny little wobble. Let's just say that. Clearly, things ain't just going right for them at the moment, and Saka with a 2-pointer, no bonus points. Just a frustrating day all in all for Saka owners. And the most frustrating one is for managers like me that captain Haaland. Look at his XG. It was the best of the premiums, 0.88. He had 5 shots, the most of the premiums. So it's super frustrating to see that he blanked with a 2-pointer. These are the fine margins in FPL. The Salah captainers are smiling. The other captainers are crying. Looking forward to Game Week 11, you can see Mohamed Salah and Haaland are the best premiums to own for this upcoming game week. Again, Palmer and Saka are a little bit below. If you look at their predicted points, they both predicted to score 4.8, 4.7, so pretty close to 5, which is not too bad considering they're playing each other, which could turn out to be a tight game. I won't flick through all the stats. You can take a screenshot if you want a bit more detail, but they're pretty even, Palmer and Saka, for this upcoming game week. We must bear in mind, Palmer's yellow flagged at the moment. He took a horrible tackle against Manchester United, which should have been a red card. Knee height, could have been dangerous that. He's meant to be going for a scan, so midweek you'll get an update just in case. Now, the 2 best premiums to own this upcoming game week are Haaland and Salah. Again, Haaland's predicted to score 6.45 against Brighton away, and Mohamed Salah's predicted to score 7.25 against Aston Villa at home. Slightly ahead mainly because of his form, and also it's a home game against Aston Villa. You saw Villa against Spurs. Once Spurs scored a couple of goals, they collapsed, which I did not expect an Unai Emery team to do that actually. So if you're one of the managers that own Haaland and Salah for this upcoming game week, you're in a great position, albeit you're going to have to choose who to captain, but it looks like it's a good choice from these 2. The other 2 premiums, they're not horrendous. They're premium players. They could return any game week, but ideally you'd want to have the Salah and Haaland for this upcoming game week. But the joker in the pack, this is a premium I've not added and he should be in here, Son. Now, he got a quick return in the last game week. He was super frustrated to come off against Villa. You could actually see the shock in his face. He was like, who be? But anyway, Ange is looking after him, but I would like to think against Ipswich at home, if Son plays 90 minutes, he could be the best captain this game week. So if you own him, do you take the gamble and captain him, or you're not sure about the minutes? Does that put you off when you just stick with one of the other premiums? But I had to put him in this because he could turn out to be the best captain for this game week. Time to look at the defender watch list. And the first thing you're going to notice, there are 3 cheap defenders bar 1. Vardio at 6.2 million is my expensive defender, and I had to squeeze him in mainly because of his attacking prowess. Defensively and clean sheet wise, Manchester City haven't been the best. Like, they've really struggled actually. They've been winning games. I know they lost this weekend to Bournemouth, but prior to that, they have been winning and getting over the line. But they've not been flying, and especially at the back, they have been giving up chances. So whether you'd want to jump on with him early, especially with the fixtures, which we're going to discuss in a minute, I'm not quite sure, but he's definitely in the list because as soon as City's fixtures change and they look like they're keeping clean sheets, I think this guy's going to be a must-own, especially with his attacking powers. I mean, look, 3 shots, even in the loss against Bournemouth, 3 shots is not bad for a defender. So let's start with the cheap defenders. And first of all, 8 Nori. Now, this week was quite a poor week. 1 pointer, XA, XG, not the best. I mean, he still managed 2 shots, which is not too bad. But when you see the fixtures upcoming, he's still worth a punt for that price point. It's not bad at all, I think. Someone definitely on my list if I need to downgrade one of my expensive defenders like Gabriel or Trent. Next up is Hall, who had an excellent game against Arsenal. He's trolling me at the moment. I started the season with him, no clean sheets, and he didn't even play. He lost his place to Murphy at one stage, so it was really frustrating. I just summed up my start to the season, but I cannot let that cloud my judgment for the upcoming fixtures. Now, he got an 8-pointer against Arsenal. XG and XA, they were useless. Basically, his job was to make sure Saka has no fun, and you could argue he done his job. 90 minutes, 2 bonus points. It was an excellent return. Someone we need to consider, especially when we look at the fixtures. And last on the list is Kadioglu for Brighton. Now, this is a new summer signing, pretty exciting one. If you see the goal against Liverpool, stunning finish. I mean, he's yet to lock down a place. I've seen him play left back, right wing, but it's someone on the radar at 4.5 million. His attacking numbers are excellent. I mean, just look against Liverpool, 0.22. I know he played in a very advanced position, but still, it tells you he's got the potential. 2 shots, he returned 6 points. He's someone on my radar. Now, whether or not we would go for any of these players for the upcoming game week, let's have a look at the fixtures could help us. When you look at Manchester City, for example, they don't look great for defensive players. Brighton could score, Tottenham more than likely going to score, Liverpool more than likely going to score, and Nottingham Forest have been excellent. So not something you want to jump on for a defensive player, but definitely, as I said earlier, Vardy will be on our radars when Manchester City click into gear. It's normally around February, January when they wake up and win 15 games in a row. He will be in our teams. Let's just say that. Hall, Newcastle's fixtures are not too bad. Nottingham Forest away, but then West Ham at home, Crystal Palace away, Liverpool. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but again, if you're looking for a cheap defender, he definitely needs to be considered. Wolves fixtures are gorgeous. We discussed this last week. Even with those fixtures, I'm not sure about clean sheets, but attacking returns, there could be some for us. And lastly, let's look at Brighton. The next fixture is Manchester City at home, so you're definitely not going there. But eventually, he's a player that could become very interesting, especially if he locks down a starting position in Brighton's team. Bournemouth away, Southampton at home, Fulham away, and they keep improving. So definitely someone we're going to want to put on our watch list. Excellent performance against Liverpool, looks very dangerous. Let's have a look at the midfield watch list. Now, I've avoided the premiums. I've already spoken about them earlier on, so I'm looking at 4 midfielders, all different prices, but the premiums we've already discussed, so let's focus on these guys. Starting with Semenyo. Now, loads of us own this guy already, but if you don't, buy him. That's all I'm going to say to you. He's been outstanding. If you see what he done with Manchester City this game week, he's put himself on everyone's radar. And what I mean by that, not just us FPL managers, I'm talking the big team. I'm be surprised if he's still at Bournemouth next season. He looks a player. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league, actually. So exciting, so direct. Honestly, gave Carl Walker nightmares. Like, he was so dangerous, so good, and could have got more attacking returns. I mean, just look at, he had 4 shots. Look at his XG against Manchester City, 0.55. 10-pointer was fully deserved. Only problem is, loads of us had him on the bench. Disgraceful. But when you look at the fixtures in a minute, he's a player that's going to be starting. No more rotation for Semenyo. He's going to be starting, and at 5.6 million, what a bargain. Beside him, Bruno Fernandes, another player that trolled me at the start of the season. I had him from game week 1 to 5, absolutely nothing. One of the biggest underperforming players XG wise. It was so frustrating. But now with the new manager coming on board, some uncertainty of his positions where he's going to be playing, but still at that price point, penalty taker, set piece taker, and if they get the new manager bounce, the fixtures are gorgeous. We'll look at them in a minute. There's potential there. It looks silly now talking about him, but we need to disregard the past. Don't let that cloud our judgment. If there's good potential for us here, we need to consider him. So he's on my watch list, and his game week 10 was quite nice. I mean, the XG is inflated because it was a penalty, but the rest of the statistics are still lovely. 4 shots, 3 bonus points, all the good stuff. The next option I want to talk about is Jota. I mean, he didn't even play in game week 10. We're not even sure on his fitness, but he's one on my watch list. So after the international break, once he starts training, he's definitely going to be an option. We know with Slot, he prefers Jota. I mean, Nunes was nowhere to be seen. He hardly even rotated them. He just played Jota because he loved him. So once he's fit at that price point for Liverpool's attack, and Liverpool look like they're going to be serious title contenders the way they've started the season, definitely a player I'm considering. And last up, if you don't have the money for a Son or Dominic Solanke and you want a cheap way into Spurs' attack, I mean, say what you want about Spurs, Defensively might not be the best, but attacking wise, they've been excellent this season and the statistics back it as well. Brennan Johnson has had a great start to the season, 6.7 million, 90 minutes week in, week out. So he's got the trust of Ange. And this game week, he had one shot and he scored it. He just got in front of Dominic Solanke, but he took the goal, 8 points. So his XG was 0.67. He's a player, for example, if you wanted Spurs coverage for the Ipswich fixture, there he is right there. Cheap, easy way in. Excellent player. He's having a great season. Definitely someone on my midfield watch list. And the fixtures just help us with these 4 options. Look at Bournemouth's fixtures. Brentford away, Brighton at home, Wolves away, Tottenham at home. Semenyo is locked in. You don't need to rotate. It's as simple as that. Excellent player. Probably outscores a lot of those cheap strikers that a lot of us have been trying our best to bring them in. Manchester United fixtures. Look at the next 3 for Manchester United. Now, if you want to take a gamble, even with the unknown of the new management and what's happening, we know the squad is imbalanced. You've seen their attack is not the best. But with Bruno, Leicester at home, Ipswich away, Everton, 3 of the worst teams in a row. If there's ever a time to take a gamble on a midfielder, Bruno looks like a perfect candidate, and he is someone I'm actually considering. Liverpool's fixtures are a mixed bag. You've got Aston Villa at home, Southampton away is a gorgeous fixture, but then Manchester City at home, Newcastle away. Jota, potentially, until we see him fully training and got some minutes under his belt, we won't consider him. So that might even be after the Newcastle game. But he's in my watch list because it's a reminder to us that he's the Liverpool number 9 for that price in such a strong team. And Spurs' fixtures, you could argue they're just about to come out through their best fixtures, but Ipswich at home, Manchester City away, well, we've seen how Manchester City are defending, so Spurs, especially him with his pace, are going to cause massive problems. And then Fulham at home and Bournemouth away. So they're not too bad. And as I said, it's a cheap way into that Spurs attack. And last up is the forward watch list, which, if you haven't seen my video last week, definitely check it out. I've done a deep dive into the forwards, much more detailed. I'm not going to go into too much detail this week because I've covered quite a lot of it last week, but so definitely check it out. But for now, I've got these 4 forwards that I really like. Reasonably priced. I mean, Chris Woods has been a revelation this season. He cannot stop scoring. Yes, he's probably overperforming at the moment. Can he continue this? I mean, it seems like he's not going to stop at the moment. The fixtures are a bit of a mixed bag. We'll have a quick look, but still, unbelievable player. Welbeck is still flying. It's a big resurgence from his perspective. Came back from that back injury. We thought he'd be out for long. Nope, played the week after and scored. Just relentless. Cunha, outstanding player, involved in everything good that Wolves do. And Wissa, straight back into the Brentford team and looks dangerous as ever. And the fixtures for these players, if you're just a fixture player, you want to go for Wissa. He's got Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester and Aston Villa. Wolves fixtures are incredible, so Cunha or Larson up top. There's 2 options if you want to spend even less money. Incredible. Nottingham Forest's fixtures are not that great. Newcastle, Arsenal next. This will be a real test for Chris Wood. Ipswich, gorgeous, but then Manchester City. So I'm not sure you'd go in this week. Possibly miss the best of his fixtures. And then Brighton, the 2 next fixtures are grim, but after that, Southampton and then Fulham, and the fixtures get even better. So these are the 4 forwards I really like. As I said, I'm not going to do too much more details because last week's video, I've done a real deep dive into the forwards. So if you get time, go back and check it out. And before you make any transfers, remember there's midweek fixtures. We've got a full house. We've got the UEFA Champions League, Liverpool, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Arsenal. Injuries and updates to players who potentially have got injuries could surface, so definitely don't use your transfers. We've got Europa Cup, we've got Tottenham, Manchester United, and we've got the Conference Cup, Chelsea. So all the big teams, loads of players that we own are in these games. So take your time. If you can wait, get the information, and then make your move. You don't want to go too early to find out someone's injured. I mean, even this week, Palmer could potentially be out. So definitely wait. Let's get the information. I hope you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you found the video useful. Get in the comments and let me know the transfers you're considering this game week. And also, which premiums do you have in your team? I want to know. Get in the comments and let me know. Before you jump off to your next video, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. I'm trying my best to reach 1,000 subscribers. I'm pretty close. I'd love to get there, and I can only do that with your help. So I really appreciate that. And last thing for me to say is to wish you good luck, and I'll see you on my next video.